She's got to have all of them.
So let's go into a little bit. You personally didn't think you would ever be a cop when you were in high school, right? Law
Oh
enforcement really
no.
wasn't an option when you thought. I mean, as you were going through the list of careers, some people want to be a firefighter and law enforcement. Because I know Jamie. I mean, from the time I met him, he was LAPD. He was going to be
Right.
a helicopter pilot and all that stuff. I just remember the first time I met him, and it was everything was LAPD. I mean, and we both shared dads that were both in the LAPD, and I was not as enthused with the LAPD as he was,
to say the least.
right?
Right.
But he was locked in from get go.
He was.
How did you figure it out? How did you figure out that that's the path I should go on? Whether you thought
I
you knew.
did. Oh, I didn't. So here, I mean, I get out of the military. So back it up. So I get married, and we're married like just less than a year, I think. And then I get deployed to Desert Storm for 7 months. And when I got back, I think I was still in the military for like 3 or 4 months. And then I got out, my 4 years were up. And then we moved back to California, and I was living with my parents. And I was working at UPS, going to school. My wife was working at JCPenney's, going to school. And I'm just thinking, Mindy, I have no idea what I'm going to do. And I think in like January of 92, a friend of my mom was in law enforcement. A friend of my mom called and said, "Hey, would you be interested in being a police officer?" And I'm like, "Sure." Because I just needed like a real job.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "We have some openings with the city of Paris. And if you're interested, you can go to the academy and we'll take a look at you." And I go, "Okay." And I go, "Well, I've got a friend who is graduating from the academy here in a month or so. And can he apply with you?" And that was, Jamie.
Yeah, yeah.
So he said, "Sure." So Jamie ends up applying, gets hired. They put me through the academy, and I ended up graduating in July, and I got hired. And that's kind of what started it. By the way, I really felt for the city of Paris to have Jamie and I work in the streets as 22-year-old nuts running around the city of
Especially
Paris with guns.
the growth that was going on in Paris in those days too.
Yeah.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah, it was growing really fast, and then it stagnated. I think in what, 98, and then again in 2008. But yeah, I mean, so that's kind of how it started. I just needed a job. I needed something to, so I could have my own apartment,
Yeah.
and not live with my parents, and so I could take care of my wife. And I mean, hell, if someone would have called and said, "Hey, do you want to be a veterinarian?" I probably would have taken that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
or do you want to work construction? I probably would have taken that. I mean, I
Yeah.
just needed a job. It
Yeah.
just happened that, they wanted to give me a gun. I was like, okay,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, totally. So what was the hardest part of all that, because it wasn't really a forethought. I mean, it must have been different for you to get used to the idea of I mean, because being a cop is very specific type of work. And what was the hardest part of that transition from going to, I had no idea that's what I wanted to do, to the actual reality of that's what I'm doing?
Well, okay. So in the army, I was in the infantry.
Okay.
So, handling guns and doing all that, all the fun
Yeah.
stuff that you do there. And so I always grew up around them. My mom was in law enforcement. So, I
Yeah.
mean, I had a, pretty good understanding of it all.
Yeah.
So, actually the transition of it wasn't huge as far as, the physicality of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The
But you are
biggest
dealing with
part.
the scumbags of the earth. That's
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, um, I think probably
you went to Rubidoux, so that explains, right?
yeah. I think the biggest adjustment was the enormous responsibility and taking the responsibility seriously.
Hmm.
Because up to that point, honestly, I didn't take a whole lot of anything seriously.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And yet here somehow, I mean, you've got to take this serious. And I think in the early stages, you probably don't take it serious enough,
Yeah.
which would be chronicled in some stories by Jamie and I together, drinking beer one day.
Yeah.
But you learn,
Yeah.
and it was fun. I mean, it
Yeah.
was fun. You get to chase people in
Yeah.
police cars.
Yeah.
They want to fight with you. That's okay too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a lot of things to like about it. The paperwork wasn't fun,
No.
but the responsibility was heavy, to be
Yeah.
honest, especially for me early on. And like I said,
Yeah.
I was a hard learner
Yeah.
when it came to those things, and it took me some bumps in the road,
Yeah.
uh, honestly, for that to really catch on,
Yeah.
So a
and,
couple
and for
years
me to actually end up being successful at it.
Yeah.
So a couple years in, did you know that, hey, I'm going to stick with this and tap out and be able to have a good life post work, or was it like, okay, this is working now. Let's see how long it works. But
Well, yeah, that's kind of how it was. But like I said, there are bumps in the roads,
Yeah.
and as we all know, life is not easy, and
No.
and it throws you curveballs on a regular basis. And so, I had been with them for about 4 years, and all of a sudden they decide to contract with the Riverside Sheriff's Department.
Oh yeah. I
And
remember that.
so, yeah, and so we ended up having to go through this whole hiring process all over again to work for the Riverside County Sheriffs in the same city that we were working with the city of Paris. And needless to say, the sheriff's department, the people that work for the sheriff's department, they weren't real happy about, the officers of Paris working for their department, being out on patrol, because everybody in the sheriff's department starts off in the jail.
Yeah.
And they felt that we should go to the jail, and we didn't. So they made it very difficult for us.
Yeah.
And so after about a year, I decided, I don't want to work here anymore. And roughly around that same time, my mom passed away, and we ended up moving to Texas.
Yeah.
And I went into law enforcement out near Dallas, Texas.
Oh.
And yeah, so different type of policing out
Yeah.
there than California. First of all, they didn't have any crime where I was at,
Yeah.
so it was like really boring.
Yeah.
And so you spend all day writing traffic tickets all day
Yeah.
because that's what they do. And so I was out there for almost 4 years. And then I started applying back to California because one, I needed to make more money
Yeah.
because my wife had twins by this time and we were broke. and they didn't make enough money out there. And then secondly, I remember one time, the whole like Dukes of Hazzard put a stop sign out on an intersection and
Yeah.
pull
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
over. They do that there.
Really?
Yes.
Alex, man.
And that really didn't sit well with me because I didn't like writing tickets in the first place. I liked arresting people.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I started applying back to California, and I was applying with I think San Bernardino PD at the time.
Okay.
And I had a really unfortunate incident where I get a call early. It was like day after Thanksgiving in '99, and I was in a parking lot writing reports. I get a call of an accident on the other side of town, and so I'm on my way, and that's all I remember. And so apparently, I'm on my way there, and a guy pulls out in front of me and T-bones me, or I T-bone him, and I wake up. I'm in the hospital. I've got amnesia. I got a concussion, and he ended up dying. He was like 80 years old, and so Texas being an at-will state, you know, because I didn't have my lights and sirens on, even though I was going only like, I think 8 miles over the speed limit, 10 miles over the speed limit, the city manager, the guy that died was his pastor.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm sure I'm right with God on that one.
Yeah.
So the city manager, the guy that died was his pastor, and Texas being at, well, anyways, they fired me.
Yeah.
And so now here I am. I'm 8 years in law enforcement. I'm in Texas. I've got 3 kids, a wife, no job.
Yeah.
And if you get fired by a law enforcement agency, it's really hard to get rehired.
Yeah.
Because that really runs with you.
Yeah.
And not to mention the fact that, the guy died and now I had a head injury, as a result of it all. And so that was tough.
Yeah.
And so I ended up going to work for Target
You gotta do what you
as
gotta do.
asset protection.
How'd
So I
you,
was an asset protection manager for Target.
that had to screw with you though, right? Mentally.
Oh, it did every day,
Yeah.
every day, every day. I was
Well,
you
how'd
tell
you get
yourself,
through that? How do
huh?
you, how did you get through that? That's
You know,
beyond, that's one of those beyond the norm things that
right.
we're trying to dig into. I mean, and if there's something that we touch base on that you don't really want to talk about, just say,
I mean, I don't care. Yeah.
but I mean, I'd like to learn from that because we
Yeah,
all
that's
go
a
through
tough
shit,
transition.
and that's a pretty big oh shit factor in your life that
Right. Well, so again, like I said, in Texas, it's an at-will state, so you don't get like represented
Yeah,
until
yeah.
you can go through a process.
Yeah,
It's
there's
just
not a
kind of like,
union.
yeah, sorry, you're gone, dude. Um, I mean, I had my moment. I had my woe is me moment,
Yeah.
and it probably went on for a couple months. I remember sitting on the couch and just like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And I think I was getting like some disability at the time because of my
Mhm.
injury, but I knew it was running out too.
Yeah.
And
Somebody's sunroof open.
Yeah.
Okay. My
Okay.
neighbor just told me.
Okay. I'll be back. Go ahead,
you
continue.
left the sunroof open in the car, and
oh, I thought you said.
gonna just the skies are gonna
The dangers of working with two old guys.
Hey, well, speaking of the storms, we just had a storm that came through here about an hour ago that just like, I mean, the sky was black and the rain. I mean, it was just crazy.
It's
Um,
as much as I cuss it every now and then because I'll be out and I've got just a little over an acre, and
mhm.
I'll I'm still working full time, so it's like, okay, I'm gonna plan to mow the lawn this day because this time of year.
Oh, me too.
And then so I just bought a new mower last weekend. I was telling James, I'm like, I never thought I'd be at the point in my life where my mower's worth 10 times the piece of shit I drive every day to work. So, that's
Are they crazy or what? Dude, yeah,
I
zero
just
turn.
spent $9,000
Here-
on a freaking mower.
Hey, here's old guy conversation. Is yours a zero turn?
It is. It is. This is a second zero turn. I bought one
Yeah.
in 2014, a Hustler Raptor, and it treated me so good that I wanted another Hustler. And my wife and I were like, okay, we're getting to the point. I mean, I overly, I worked for automotive my entire life, so I overly take care of everything. So every year,
Right.
I change the oil, replace the blades, replace the plugs. I pull the covers off and blow every year. So this thing's in good shape, but it's always been too small. And her and I drive through town, and I live in a small town, and there's a new dealer that sells mowers. And I stop in, and I'm like, her and I are looking at it, and I start talking to the guy, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I guess he was waiting to see if I was serious or not, which I wasn't. I wasn't planning on buying one. But they're getting rid of their previous model year, so
Yeah.
it was just I went from a 48 to a 60 and went to a 751 Kawasaki motor, and
So that would be the thing for our California friends and family that have never lived out of state is to comment on what a zero turn mower is.
I'll tell you what, Bill, the other one I thought, man, this is freaking cool because it was the first zero turn I'd ever been on, and the mow speed was about 4.5, 5 miles an hour. This thing's got a 10-mile-an-hour plus mow speed. So I'm like a little kid on this thing now. This thing hauls
Oh
ass,
yeah.
and it gives you a perfect freaking grass. I'm like, how is this possible? This is awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Your new grass go-kart.
yeah, and you know what? I mean, I would love to get people. We spoke to Tom earlier, and Tom Cochran, and I think somebody that's lived in he's been in California forever. I'd love it when people come out here and just see what there is in the granted.
Oh yeah, they love it.
There are things, I'm not going to lie, there are things I miss from California, but I miss it from California when we were kids.
Right.
And
Exactly.
the weather is going to be something that I'm always going to miss, but the bullshit,
Or the
And
lack of
rest of
bugs?
the stuff I can't handle from there. I have to stay where I'm at, or at least in this area.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's beautiful. It's definitely a beautiful part of the country.
Okay, so
Oh,
where
yeah.
were we on? Before I got,
So,
How much water did you get in your car?
it doesn't matter, whatever, just go with it. That's my thing. Fuck it, I don't care.
so, so getting back to how I dealt with it, I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I had my woes me moments. I mean, I think everybody would,
Yeah.
sitting on the couch, what am I going to do? And I really had no clue. And, but I will say that, again, it goes back to, family. My wife was super supportive.
Yeah.
She didn't beat me up on it. She didn't, you're a loser, go find a job. And I didn't get any of that.
Hey,
Um,
ladies, just a quick note to the ladies that are listening. Part of a good marriage is that. You think that men don't have these emotions or whatnot, but I can tell you just from my own experience, when you're tearing, when you are already at your lowest, you already feel all the shame, what the pressure, you're feeling all that stuff. But to have someone that has your back and you having this marriage for that long, that speaks to I mean, part of it is because she did treat you that way, right? That she did
yeah.
have your
Yeah.
back.
I mean, she was awesome.
Yeah, because it doesn't happen that way. And in a lot of personally for me, when I went through some of the same kind of things, you know, yeah, Steve Gerties is asking. So Steve, we're speaking with Bill Wilson. If you missed that, say hi to Steve Gerties if you're there. So yeah, that's Bill Wilson. But I think that sometimes it's missed that point of things because we get blamed for so much. And
Most of it was my fault in my situation.
yeah, I mean, we do.
Everybody else, I get it.
But there is that point, and I think it's poignant that
Yeah.
you mentioned that it does speak to why you have this successful marriage, is that it was truly a partnership. And when you're at your lowest, she was not beating you up about it.
Yeah, she's helping pick you.
No, she, and what's funny is, and we kept our kids were young, so they didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
But she was, like I said, she was super supportive. And I think finally, just, after, a few months, I was like, I just got to do something. And, so I got online, I started looking for jobs and like I said that, the Target thing came up and I was like, well, I got to do something, and I needed medical insurance, for my kids. And like my boys, they were less than a year old then. And, so anyways, I took a job with Target and I'll be honest, they were great. I didn't make a ton of money, but I made enough.
Mhm.
And I'll be honest, my mother-in-law was helping us a little bit too.
Yeah.
And, but it did give us, medical insurance and whatnot. And they offered, other opportunities within Target to move up and all this stuff. But I mean, at that point, I mean, I felt defeated
Mhm.
that I didn't fulfill, I guess, my own personal obligation to
Yeah.
law enforcement that I'd kind of set for myself,
Yeah.
and that by getting fired, I'd somehow failed.
Yeah.
And so I started looking, about, getting back in. But because I got fired in Texas and because of the way it was, applying anywhere in Texas was entirely off the board. Yeah, it wasn't even going to happen.
Yeah.
So I applied. I actually ended up applying over at LAPD and got pretty far in the process, and until they went through my medical records and saw that I had a concussion and an amnesia and all that stuff, and they were like, nope. And so I ended up applying with the city of Rialto.
Yeah.
And so I get an interview to go meet with like a background investigator.
Yeah.
And this is like a year and a half later after the accident, a year and a half later after I got fired. And so I have an interview set up. I fly out to California to go meet this background investigator. And he took the day off that day. So I'm there and I'm like, I'm supposed to meet this guy. And they're like, yeah, he's not working today. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And I go, I'm supposed to have an interview. I mean, like I flew out here from Texas. And so they told somebody, the deputy chief actually comes out
Yeah.
and he goes, here, why don't you come in and we'll talk. So I sit down with the deputy chief and I basically I tell my story and I tell him what happened. And he goes, well, they wouldn't even fire you for that out here. He goes, what did your union do? And I go, well, we don't have unions. He goes, you even have unions out there? And I go, no. And he goes, yeah. He goes, you probably wouldn't get fired for that out here.
Yeah.
And I go, well, they didn't have any problem doing it out there.
Yeah.
So he takes me into the chief's office and he said, hey, why don't you talk to the chief and I'll be back. So I sit down and I talk to the chief for about an hour and he goes, when can you start? And I go, today.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, obviously, we need to do a background, stuff like that. And I go, no, I understand. And he goes, okay. He goes, yeah, we'd like to hire you. And I'm thinking, and see, I've been through hiring process before, and I'm thinking, dude, this is all some wonky crap right here.
Yeah.
And so he goes, yeah, he goes, we'll get a hold of you in a couple of weeks. Like, okay. So like 6 months later, I get this random email from this guy from Rialto going, hey, are you still interested in the job? And I mean, I thought this stuff was done.
Yeah.
I'm like, sure. And he goes, can you be here tomorrow? And I go, no. And he goes, and I go, listen. So I call him. I'm like, listen, man, I'm in Texas. My family's here. I'm working. And no, I can't be there tomorrow. And he goes, well, if I send you a background packet, he goes, can you get it filled out really quickly? And I go, sure. So I fill out the background packet. I send it to him. And he goes, okay, we want to hire you. When can you start? And I'm thinking, this is some stupid stuff because nothing ever happens like this.
Yeah.
And I mean, like they didn't do a background yet. I just sent them an application.
Yeah.
And the background app. So I go, well, I mean, I could probably be there like September 1st. And I mean, my house I've got my house and everything there. And he goes, okay. He goes, here, he did some stuff, whatever. And he gets back to me. He goes, okay, your start date is September 8th. Or no, September 9th, but your actual start date of work will be September 11th. I'm thinking, man, this is okay, I guess. So, and I mean, it was legit. I mean, he said, it came from HR and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I tell my wife, I'm like, yeah, dude, I just got hired from City Rialto and I start September 11th and I got to go.
Yeah.
So we end up flying out to California, or no, driving to California. And then my wife ended up flying back. And sure enough, I mean, I started on September 11th, 2001. I stayed to start for Thursday. Yeah. And
right, this is 10 days later.
Yeah. And but they hired me as a trainee. Okay, because I had to go back to school to my license, my California police license expired. And so you have to go to a refresher course, which I think is like six weeks or something, to get it refreshed. So I had to do that. And so in the meantime, they were paying me as a trainee, which was still about $15 more than I was making at Target.
Yeah.
$15 an hour more than I was making at Target.
Oh, that's good.
So, anyways, my wife stayed back in Texas and for like, I think 7 months. To get the house sold and everything before she met me out there. So, and I started again, and I started with a new attitude.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the fly by your seat of the pants guy, the take chances guy, he became a follow the leader guy, do what you're told guy, until the day I retired.
That's good. I mean, that's really what it's about. I mean, you learned that lesson. It took a while, but you got there.
Did you have to fight that within yourself though to fall into that line, or did you realize that?
No, all I had to do was know what it felt like to have lost it all.
Yeah.
And given a second opportunity to start anew. So it didn't make it. Listen, there wasn't a whole lot of other options. I was not going to fail again.
Yeah.
And I felt like I failed myself and failed my family. And to have that feeling, I never wanted to have that feeling again.
Yeah.
And so, I became a conformist and it worked for me too. I mean, I mean, I got hired as an officer in 2001 and I retired in 2019 as a captain. So, I mean, there's something to be said for following the rules.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been good at that.
No, yeah, yeah, no, I mean, I think that, and you even mentioned it the other day on the phone when we were talking. I mean, you see yourself, a lot of yourself in Todd, just in, the relating wise. And I think a lot, I mean, that's probably why the military wasn't a fit for me because I am a nonconformist as well, right? And I've charted my own path on stuff and it's had mixed results in a lot of areas, but those are lessons where like, yeah, you have to like get along to get along, right? And then to conform to make things work. And it's
Which
not
I
always
never
an
learned
easy
how to do.
bullshit. You're
I've
working for
never learned how to
you still work for
But see, but
You
I
get a
don't see
feel
that
by
in you,
like the-
James, because you've always been the personification of get along.
Yeah,
Hence
no, I
James.
get that, but it's also when people tell me the worst thing anybody can do is tell me what to do, right?
Oh yeah,
And I'm like, I'll do exact opposite just because, right? Because I just don't conform. Now, when I get into the corporate world and I'm now working at universities and doing that stuff, it it's not that I don't get along, but I question everything, and it's worked out for me because I'm and I don't know what it is. It's because of academia that I'm like always looking at things from different angles that they never. So I have a bit of freedom to be out of the box thinking all the time, which kind of fits my personality. But also, then when a decision's made, it's gone a particular distance. I know when to pull it back and not be confrontational about it, right? But I'm given freedom to then have these discussions. Like, I don't agree. I don't think this is the way I think it should be, and I guess it's just giving me enough leash to
hang
satisfy my
yourself.
own rebellious spirit, and then I feel satisfied that at least then if I have to comply, I've already given it its all, right? That it could be, and I've been kind of lucky that way. There's been some times where I got pushback and I've gotten lost jobs because I do that. So I mean, I have my stories too where like I learned some lessons early on that well, you can only push your opinion so far before you become
But
like a
see, that's
bot.
the thing is early on, those lessons didn't register with me.
Yeah,
I mean, in the military, I mean, you'd think that those things from high school and would carry on and go for it. They did not.
yeah.
I mean, I would get confined to barracks for weeks on end. You
Mm.
know, I had my car taken away, for months on end, just like at home, just like my parents would do.
Yeah,
And yeah, but I mean, to fail when you're responsible for other people
yeah.
that look up to you,
See, and
you realize it ain't about you.
just
Yeah.
another note here because you had you're saying your perception of me was the getting along kind of thing, which
Well, yeah,
to
because
me,
you're to me, it used to make me so mad
yeah.
when we hung out because it's the total opposite of how I was. But you're Mr. Social Dynamo,
Okay.
and yeah, you're like you pep
Yeah.
rallies and
Yeah, okay.
if there was a function, you were there and you emceeing it and you Mr. Social
Yep.
man. And like even when we went to Mexico, Jamie and I get just, hammered on the back end of that thing. And you're out there celebrating it, walking the halls, wearing a sombrero, like
It was in that kind of some of that rebellious spirit because I was like, yeah, I mean, it's like the cheer boxes. Everything I've done has been in the public, and my mom called me the silver tongued devil, right? That's what she always said I was, but I don't know. And because when I looked at you guys as more like not as rebellious as I was, right? I didn't see that in you guys. Like I saw exactly what you said you saw in me, but again, when you go to the social side of it, yeah, I was probably a little bit more
A little bit.
vocal. Well, yeah, a
you
lot
were-
more vocal and out there social.
listen, here's what I knew. Here was the difference. Your father and your mother, of what I remember,
Yeah,
thought at the time, I don't know what happened later,
yeah,
but I know at least when we were in school, thought you walked on water,
Uh,
that you could do no wrong.
I don't know if
They did.
that, but
They did.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
even Julie used to talk about it. And I
yeah,
used to think, oh my God, are you serious?
yeah,
You know, but whereas, my parents knew, like I said, my parents didn't think I'd make it to be 18. My parents thought I was having, that I was getting girls pregnant when I was 9. And I'm like, do you even know who I am?
yeah, yeah.